Blog Talk Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with ZeldaSpeaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Grand Rising. Well, as always, we appreciate you for joining us every morning. And this Monday morning, people in the United States are acknowledging what has been known as Independence Day. The 4th of July is the regular date of celebration, but of course, for basic financial reasons, people want to have 3-day weekends. So rather than start a work day and then disrupt the week with a holiday in the middle of the week, we have now tended to extend the weekend to include whatever upcoming holiday is going to be held during the week. So although the actual 4th of July is on Wednesday, today, the 2nd of July, is the day that people are taking off to acknowledge Independence Day. And if you have been a student in the American school system, you know the story very well of the American Revolution and the supposed liberation of America from Britain as a colony. And we all grew up with the great heroic stories of Patrick Henry, give me liberty or give me death, and all of that. And, of course, if you had any kind of black history, any kind of African-American history, you know that the first person to actually die, get shot to death as an act of war in that Revolutionary War was a black man named Crispus Attucks. But, of course, one of the controversies had to do with the fact that the Americans that were fighting so hard for liberation were themselves enslaved, and America's wealth was built on the 200 plus years of enslavement. We know that 1619 is the first documented year that Africans were brought here with the purpose of enslaving them for free labor. And if you heard slaves were brought here, please understand, no one is born a slave. Enslavement is a political system that is designed to create economic wealth by forcing people to work for no wages at gunpoint and under the threat of death if they refused. So under the threat of death, if we refused, our ancestors were brought here and forced to labor. And 1619 is that first documented year. And there has been notation that the year 2019 will mark the 400-year mark of that period of enslavement, which many feel is a reference to the biblical prophecy of 400 years of enslavement in a foreign land, at which point there would be a time of liberation. So there are those who are looking at those dates as corresponding to the African American experience, understanding that the events that occurred in the Bible were in fact happening on the continent of Africa, and therefore were involving people of African heritage. So that's one of the things that we look at as we look at the 4th of July and the liberation of Europeans who fled Europe to form a colony in America and later chose to form a separate government based on principles of equality and rights to develop one's own enterprise without government interference. So this was a nation founded by lawyers, and it was a nation founded on free enterprise, and it was also a nation founded upon the ideal of the elimination of classes, because in Europe you had the peasant class, you had the royal class, you had people who were stuck in an economic position based on their family heritage, and there was no way to transcend those classes. And so you had people who were the landowners, and then you had the serfs who worked the land for the landowners. And that was the way it was. So when people left there, many of them left as a result of a program that the government offered, because the jails were being filled with people who were put in jail because they couldn't pay their debts. And so they were given the option of leaving, clearing out the jails and going to this, for Europe, newly discovered land. Of course, many of us know the history that there were many, many shiploads that came before Columbus from Africa and other places. The world was already involved in
sea travel and trade prior to the Europeans coming out of their dark ages and traveling abroad. So for Europeans coming to this land, it was a new opportunity for them to reinvent themselves, for them to shake off the identities of poverty and serfdom and lower class and create something that gave everyone an economic opportunity. However, when you only know one way of thinking, it's very difficult to come out of that way of thinking without some type of inspiration. And what Europeans ended up doing was recreating the same condition of servitude and exploitation that they had come out of. And as a result, we have what we have here in America now. And that is the systematic incarceration of people in order to force them into free labor, and incarceration of people who can't pay their debts or are in poverty. That's basically what prison has become, because so many people that go to jail, they go to jail connected to economic reasons. They have people now that are going to jail because they can't pay child support. So what is that but another form of debtor's prison? You have a number of laws that cause people to lose property and to get fined for not having money. So it's the same mindset that the Europeans brought here. Well, at our 7:30 hour, we'll bring on our Monday morning host, Zelda Speaks, and her guest, Lionel Abdul Haqque, who will talk about Independence Day and the many holidays that we celebrate in this country without conscious reflection of their origins and even the hypocrisy behind them. And Frederick Douglass gave a very powerful speech about 4th of July, which at some point I'm sure we will share with you. But the fact that this nation has all of these flowery words in the Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution about freedom and justice and equality, and yet became a world power because of the enslavement of African people. It's the highest hypocrisy. And the fact that this nation continues to thrive based on a deliberate creation of an underclass is hypocrisy. So our goal in these times is to dismantle this system and create that which serves everyone, which means recognizing what's wrong, not trying to fit into it or figure out how to play the game and beat the system. Get rid of the system. It isn't going to work because it hurts people. And anything that hurts people is eventually going to self-destruct because people aren't going to keep choosing to allow themselves to be hurt. So this is part of our mission as a show, is to raise consciousness and remind us of our responsibility to deconstruct what isn't working and reconstruct that which should serve the interests of all people. So we're going to be hearing from Lionel Abdul Haqque as he shares his wisdom on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. And we invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and press 1 when you're ready to speak, and we'll come right to you and get your thoughts. One of the things that we're conscious about in these times is the controversy over removing people who have been deemed as illegal immigrants. And let's take a look at that thought for a moment. There are people who are fleeing dangerous conditions in their country. They're right across the borders of the United States, in Mexico, and so coming through in Florida and other coastal cities in order to escape conditions that are deplorable and looking for economic opportunities in America. And there are those who feel that they should not be here because they didn't go through whatever citizenship standards have been established. But let's some realities. How do people who come and hijack someone else's land decide who else shouldn't come? That's hypocritical. The earth is not divided into separate countries. People are divided into separate countries. Mother Earth is one land, and our job is to share the land and its resources. Our job is to learn how to do that and to create ways of interdependence so that everyone contributes to the whole and everyone's needs are met. A government is simply for the purpose of making sure everyone's needs are met and the resources are distributed in such a way that all can live comfortably. But the earth is one earth. So if you create a situation where the place where some people live is not habitable, whether you polluted the water or poisoned the ground, then they have a right to leave and go where they can eat food that sustains them and doesn't kill them, or drink water that doesn't kill them. And they have a right to have the area where they live not be polluted or rendered useless for growing food by repeated acts of war, bombings, and poisoning of the air and the ground. So if nation has in its, whether it's mining works, whether it's extracting oil, whether it is extracting crops, whatever this nation has done in terms of an economic policy in other places around the world that has depleted the soil and poisoned the air and made it uninhabitable for the people, then how can this nation refuse entry? If I go to your house and tear it up and you don't have a place to live, I think you have a right to come to my house and ask residency. Either that or, hey, you come back and fix up what you tore up where I was living. So these industrialized nations are destroying other parts of the earth and creating the refugee crisis that exists. So we as a collective family have to choose to stop exploiting each other. And the rank and file people need to know what's going on so that we can make intelligent decisions about issues. So we're going to go to our phone lines and get your thoughts. And if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9325. Independence Day celebrations around the United States, and our 7:30 break, we'll bring in our Monday morning host, ZeldaSpeaks, with her guest, Lionel Abdul Haqque, and we'll talk about Independence Day. Do we really understand the psychology of people who created this nation? And are we willing to take the responsibility of recreating this nation to be what it should be, rather than conforming to what it has become and continuing the destruction of other nations around the world? Phone line and bring in our dear sister, Maika. Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us this morning. Yes.
Yes. I just tuned in, and I heard you mention dismantle this system, and I just wanted to say the dismantling is in the mind. It's not, we ain't got to do no demolition work for this system, except in our own minds. We have to dismantle the false evidence appearing real about this system that we're living in, and create a new system that enhances love and free will and, the empowerment of people. So thank you so much for, but when I was raising my children, I basically didn't celebrate any holidays, and I later came to regret that. I realized that rather than not celebrate them, I should have reframed them. I should have created them in my children's mind from a different perspective than what the mass media was creating. Because as they got older, in school and stuff like that, everybody's celebrating this holiday. They had to go against the grain, which made them sour about it. You go at Christmas, everybody's celebrating Christmas, and we don't celebrate Christmas. You don't celebrate Christmas. Why would you celebrate Christmas? Instead of reframing Christmas in a way that would be positive for them and yet not take them out of the brain of the march of other people. Because that can be pretty strenuous on children. So I just wanted to mention that also and invite your listeners to tune in on Thursday with Let's Talk About It with Maika. That's 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I don't have a topic yet. If anybody has a suggestion for a topic, what they would like to talk about, and that they would talk with me about it, you can email me at maika@yahoo.com. That's MYEKA@yahoo.com. Thank you, Naima, and have a blessed day. Peace be
yes,
you.
Well, likewise, and enjoy this heat.
One
yes.
other thing I just wanted to say. I heard recently, I don't have the information in front of me, but I got to further research it, that the people who are doing the fleeing and seeking refuge here in America, their country was actually destroyed by activities of the United States government. So I got to get more information on that.
Oh, yes. And that's
we
often,
mm-hmm.
yes. And American people need to know this because we don't know what's being done with our tax dollars. We don't know the military operations that are going on abroad. The military people who are involved can't talk about it. So we don't get the real story. And we need to get the real story so that we can have the right responses. Yes.
Yes,
but I'm
understand I recompense the work that we need to be doing to pay back these people for the destruction of their country. And I heard yesterday a video where there's a Muslim group, an Islamic group in, I think it's St. Petersburg, Florida or something, somewhere in Florida. And they have offered to take all 2,500 children and house them with their families, all expense paid. The government doesn't have to pay anything for transportation or nothing. The whole community is using it as a top fund to take care of these children. That's their offer to the United States government. So I thought that was so loving, because it was like, wow, there are good people in America. They really are. We just don't hear about the good that much. But also offer that was made. Yeah. So now the Trump administration doesn't have to cry about money, that where the money gonna come from to do that. These Muslims have stepped forward as part of their, I don't know what you call it, I guess mission or duty to take in these children. I'll send you a link on that.
Well, that sounds good. I'll be looking for it, yes. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the dismantling the system with your mind, because we keep thinking that there's this big revolutionary thing we have to do. It's simply a change of mind. That's all it takes, and everything changes. Everything we create was first created in the mind. It can be recreated in the mind. So this is what we're doing every day. We are changing the minds in order for us to change our physical reality. Someone mentioned yesterday about a Facebook post was about the economic system that exists here and the exploitation of it. And, you know, the debate about the minimum wage and you know, whether or not workers should be paid more or should employers be more sensitive. But the reality is, if we want a different economic system, all we have to do is choose to share. And we say that every morning. Mm-hmm. But we want that to sink in. Because we can have a moneyless society. The people existed and traded and worked together before the invention of money. Money is an artificial symbol. But really, if what you have you want to share with someone else, and what they have they want to share with you, you're free to do that and not exchange anything. You can just simply make sure everybody has what they need. So what would that look like? That means honesty and right intention, sincere concern for other people's well-being. That's the change of mind that has to take place, and that's all it takes. Nothing else is necessary. So we have to be willing to change our minds in order to change the conditions created by an exploitive system. And once we, as a collective, do that, then everything will change. But you have to have at least a group of people who can see how to make that work and demonstrate how to do it. And so there are various groups that are coming up with different means of exchange, and they're putting it in motion, because we're gradually getting to that point where we can see, we don't need this banking system that robs you and keeps you impoverished. We're not poor. This place is a place of abundance. All we have to do is just share what we have, and everybody will have what they need. It's really a change of mind. So that's our goal, and we'll keep working on it until we get what they call that 100th monkey syndrome, where the last person who doesn't get it finally gets it. Then we can do it.
Amen.
So, well, thanks so much. Right. Thanks so much for your inspiration this morning. We'll be looking forward to an exciting topic on Thursday.
Yes, you can count on that.
Absolutely. Bye-bye. Well, let me take one more call before we go to our break and talk to our Monday morning host. We've got Kofi on the line. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Independence Day.
Yeah, yes, it is. You know, America is a military post for the British. That's where we live.
Yes.
And we all try to work it out.
That's exactly what it is. So, before we take a break, I've got a quick question before we take a break. Now, of course, you've often said, the people that are here, the Native people, many of those who are here now were here long before the European invasion. What should be in your opinion, our position on the immigrants that are being told they have no right to come here and are being sent back and their children taken away? What should be our position on that in your thoughts? We got about a minute before the break, but what do you think about that?
Well, you're right. The position of us being Native people is looking at the immigrant situation as we are a government within ourselves when we speak, because there's no one else like us. We're the only non-immigrant people in this country. So when we speak, we're heard. Okay, that's why people are listening to me. Like, where is this people talking? Where are you getting all this power from? Because I'm a Native person. So to look at this situation, we have to end it, because that is a part of a slavery system. Anytime you breaking up families, they've already broken up our families. 95% of black families are broken, and others. So we've already experienced what they're going through. And so my position is saying, if you help them people, you come back, you return back, and you come back and help to right the wrongs of destroying our families by the child support system, by the invasion of drugs, and by all the stuff that you've done. And we're looking right now at no families out here. People are they're getting out of marriages. So we look at that situation in this. We don't need no feeling of slavery, we know they're setting up situations for slavery. We all know that, right? This is what they're doing, and they're easing these situations out there, and they're saying, man, let's tell them that we have these kids locked up, and let's see what they're going to say. They're not going to say nothing about it? Okay, now let's take these other immigrants. Black people, you're immigrants. You're next. That's what I saw was going on.
Well, I think that's something to think about. Well, thank you for your comments. We got to take a break now. We need to think about that because everything that happens affects all of us. And if we are silent when one group is experiencing injustice, then we experience it next. Well, we're going to come back with our Monday morning host, Zelda Speaks, and her guest, Lionel Abdul Haqque, as he takes a look at what should we be teaching our children during these celebrations, and why are we emulating the sound of gunshots with the setting off of firecrackers? Why are we emulating bombs bursting in air with fireworks? Why are we doing this? Is there a way we can raise the consciousness during this so-called holiday to give it a different meaning? Let's make this a teachable moment. We'll be right back with Zelda Speaks and Lionel Abdul Haqque on Independence Day. And if you're listening online, want you to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9325, and press 1 when you're ready to speak. We'll come right to you and get your thoughts. So stay with us.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. People in Chicago have been crying out for justice, equality, and fairness from their government for years. And it keeps getting worse. Unfair taxes, laws that unjustly imprison nonviolent offenders. The rich get richer, and the everyday people suffer. It's time for a change. With your help, I'm here to do it. I'm asking for your support as I run for mayor for the city of Chicago.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
What happens when a group of people are kidnapped from their homes, smuggled away in chains, and held captive in a foreign land where they are tortured, raped, and forced to perform hard labor by the lash of a whip and under the constant threat of death? Slavery, the African American psychic trauma. What happened to the doctors, writers, scientists, builders, educators, and spiritual leaders from Africa's golden age? Who did they really capture and sell into slavery? Are all African Americans suffering from psychic trauma because of a conspiracy to hide their true identities? Do you have psychic trauma? Take the test on page 22 of the book and see. Order it online today at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. And get your personally autographed copy of the book, Slavery, the African American Psychic Trauma.
Radio, The Female Solution, Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. And a special thank you to our executive producer, Dr. Naima Latif.
for enlightening our audience today on the topic of Independence Day, starting the day off. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness, starting your day off with mindfulness stress relief sessions. Yes, today is July 2nd, and we are celebrating in America Independence Day. But the question today is, are we really independent? And if so, what are we independent of? Our special guest today is the much requested speaker, trainer, author, community activist, leader, and goodwill brother, I call him, because he is all of that and then some, Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations, who will be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. If you are joining us this morning and you're listening online, feel free to call in or send your comments, questions, suggestions via our social media page, Facebook, ZeldaSpeaks, also the same for Twitter and Instagram. And our prize is today the trivia. If you can tell us the topic of today's show, you have a chance to be a winner of the Mindfulness Stress Relief 21-Day Home Practice Journal or the audio cassette program. I keep forgetting to say CDs. Nobody listens to audio cassettes program anymore but me. It is the Innovative Mindfulness Breakthrough System audio program. And it's a system designed with you in mind, just as the system that is designed that we are living today. Educational, financial, the health system, all of the systems that we currently operate under. And as someone once told me, if the system that you're currently working under is doing you well, very good. But if it's not, then you need to consider changing it. And I remember as I was about to, some years ago after I had graduated from Columbia College with a degree in broadcasting, we were told that we would make X amount of dollars just out of college, as all college students are. And when we got into the work world, we discovered another story. And that story was the truth, because the truth that we were given in the beginning was not the truth. So we had to come to the realization that going back to school, getting a degree in whatever, another degree, mind you, if the first degree did not give you what you were expecting or are expecting, then why would you become in debt in another system that was really designed with you in mind to keep you in bondage? Why would you go back to the same system that promised you something and did not deliver? So you have your bachelor's. Why would you go back and get a master's? Look at the word master. And why would you go back and get a degree, a doctorate? All part of the system. And that system is designed to keep us in bondage. New way of thinking. That's what programming is. And that's what we specialize here in the Female Solution, is to open your mind. A very special thank you to Sister Maika, who called in this morning. I'm listening to the show. Sister Maika comes on Thursday morning. Let's talk about it with Maika, 7 to 9 a.m. 365knowyourhistory.com is the website, and the sister is powerful. The dismantling of the system begins in the mind. I love it, Maika. Thank you so much for channeling that information. When you change your mind, you change the condition that created whatever system we are currently in. And the fact that you made the statement about the refugees being here and the activities that brought them here in America has a lot to do with that. I have been watching as my sister, her name will come to me in a second. I talk to her in my head all the time. Friday morning, Viata. My sister Viata says, the real health and wealth begins in the mind. And that's what all of our female solution hosts are telling us. The activities that brought us here to where we are today are the activities that we participated in that landed us in the condition that we're in. We're just like the refugees. They call us that and we get mad. But in a sense, we are refugees. And Sister Maika says the refugees are here because of the activities that the United States engaged in to destroy their countries. And I looked at that and I said, wow, that is really gangster. That is not a loving activity, to go to another country and destroy the people, and then the people come here, and then we put them in concentration camps, pretty much like the concentration camps that we're all living in mentally. And we'll get into that more and when Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque joins us. But I just wanted to share that with you, that if the system that you're currently working in is working for you, fine. If not, the Innovative Mindfulness Breakthrough System is available to you. And it's available online at ZeldaSpeaks.com. We're always looking for health ambassadors who want to make extra money by sharing the information and being able to reap the rewards by being a distributor of the diabetic journal, diabeticdonut.com. If you go there, there's information there, and if you'd like to participate and earn a little extra money, that's available for you. All you have to do is go to diabeticdonut.com. And do keep in mind, we're always looking for people who like to shop, spending someone else's money. You can make money on Amazon. We've helped the Higher Learning Network, which is a non-for-profit, and for-profit businesses as well. If you are interested in that training, it is available. It's free. The trial is free, and you can go to ZeldaSpeaks.com and click on training. That information is there. Be sure and set your DVRs for the Higher Learning Network TV show, Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19, and 24/7 on the World Wide Web at higherlearningnetwork.org. And as we continue Monday morning mindfulness, let us begin with a spiritual reading from today, taken from Inspirational Conversations, Volume 2, with Shalom Israel. And this was so good. I'm going to share with you two pages today because I often like to read from the day, but I listen to the spirit that is within me that gives me exactly what to share with you. So today I'm reading from July 4th, and then I'll go back to the 3rd. It says, it's the holiday we celebrate our independence, but are we really independent? We depend on things now more than ever, which has caused more chaos than ever. We depend on jobs to support ourselves because we weren't taught to develop our own natural, God-given gifts, talents, and abilities. We depend on others to make us happy. Seen divorce court lately? We often live our lives through our children, forcing them to do things they may not want to do. We can't even depend on ourselves to tell the truth to ourselves. Go ahead. Eat another slice of whatever. Drink another drink. Sing another song and try to make it all go away. Oops, there I go again. Depending on something or someone else other than me. What if you were to wake up in the morning, opened your eyes, attempted to get out of bed, and your body would not move? What if this really did happen to you because it was the only way God could get your attention? What would you say to God if he, she, it asked you the question, what did you do with the life I gave you? What contributions have you made? Whose life have you improved besides your own? How will your time spent on this planet have made an impact in your community, locally and abroad? What will God say to you when you meet personally? Will God be impressed with your personality, where you work, live, and play, what you drive, where you send your children to school, or even where you vacation? You probably spent a good portion of your life working. You probably spent a good portion working hard, so hard, even overtime, to buy the things that give your life meaning and make your family comfortable. Don't try any longer to impress anyone but God. Remember, the people you try to impress the most are the people who care less. Inspirational Conversations with Shalom Israel, a.k.a. ZeldaSpeaks. And that's taken from July 3rd. Happy birthday to my nephew, Dwayne Foster, who is celebrating his birthday on July 4th. And thank you for celebrating this day with us here on the Female Solution. And we will continue to celebrate you and yours by offering you the opportunity to become still, to become quiet, so that you can spend the next 5 minutes breathing and focusing strictly on you. Nothing else in this world matters at this moment. Nothing matters but the breath that you breathe, the thoughts that you think, and the experience that you have as a result of doing this. So I invite you to get quiet, find yourself a quiet space where no one will disturb you, where you can simply sit up straight in your chair if possible. If you're lying on your back, that's okay too, but you may fall asleep. So if you can, sit up straight, eyes closed, feet flat on the floor, head erect, and nothing but love in your heart and a smile on your face. Yes, I can see it. You are ready to move forward. So let us begin the breathing process. As we inhale to the count of 6, hold it and blow it out through the nose. Are you ready? Okay, let's begin. If you like, put your hand on your chest or your stomach so that you can be reminded as you breathe to allow your chest to inhale. You want to feel that. You don't want to breathe shallow. You want to take long, deep, full breaths. So let us begin. Inhale deeply to the count of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now counting to yourself. Keep breathing. Keep feeling your chest inflate as you inhale and deflate as you exhale. The only thing we are concentrating on is the breath. The breath that keeps us here. The breath that brings us joy when nothing else can. When we concentrate on the breath, we are giving thanks to the Creator for allowing us the opportunity of another day to get it right. To get it right in the form of thinking thoughts that keep us in alignment with the universe. As we continue to breathe long, deep inhales, we give thanks that each breath that we bring, that we breathe, gives our body nourishment for another second, minute, hour, day, month, and year. We give thanks that the breath that we breathe brings us closer to the Creator. We give thanks that the breath we breathe is the only thought that we need to focus on right now, because without the breath, there is no life. As we continue to breathe in, taking long, deep breaths, we give thanks as the energy that we breathe in, that is circulating through from the top of our heads, our forehead, our eyes, ears, nose, chin, neck. We give thanks for the breath that is circulating in the head, that is the center of our being. We give thanks for the colors that are swirling around in our karma that bring us closer to our gifts that are activated right now as we breathe. As we breathe in to the count of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're holding it for a hot second, and release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We give thanks that the power of breath is re-energizing and revigorating each and every particle, membrane, and tissue, and ligament, and loin in our bodies. We give thanks for the breath. As the energy continues to be activated through our breath, we move down to the throat, to the neck, to the shoulders, to the arms, to the chest, and to the stomach, where we continue to breathe in and breathe out, giving thanks that the energy we breathe is revitalizing and energizing the stomach, the liver, the lungs, the spine, the spleen. We give thanks. As we continue to breathe long, deep breaths, we give thanks for the reproductive area, the hip, the thighs, the buttocks, the knees, the ankles, the legs, the feet, the toes, the arches. We give thanks. Each and every part of our body is in divine working order. And as we continue to breathe, we give thanks for the life that the breath brings us, because someone somewhere cannot breathe as openly and as freely as we do. And as we come to the end of this session, we give thanks for the breath. And for these last several long, deep inhales and exhales that we take as we breathe in, we take another long, deep breath. Hold it. And as we exhale, we give thanks. Let us begin. Inhale deeply and say to yourself, I am happy, healthy, whole, and complete. Yes, I am. And as we exhale, I release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply. I am happy, healthy, whole, and complete. Exhale. I release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply one more time. I am happy. Say it out loud. I am happy, healthy, whole, and complete. Yes, I am perfect just as I am. I release, let go, and I let God. One more time. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. Chin to chest. Head forward. Chin to chest. Slowly rotate the head to the left. Slowly. Slowly. And slowly bring it around to the back. Slowly. Continue breathing. Moving too fast. Slow down. Slowly bringing the head around to the right. Slowly. Slowly. Still breathing. Slowly bringing it around to the front. Chin to chest. Head straight up. And reverse. Sending the head to the right. Slowly. Bringing it around to the back. Slowly. Slowly. Still breathing. Slowly to the left. Slowly. And slowly bringing the head around to the front. Chin to chest. Looking straight up. Looking to your left. Head back straight in front of you. And looking to your right. And take another long, deep breath, repeating the words that activate the good that awaits you this day. I am happy. Say it out loud. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. I am divinely guided and directed. And no matter what comes before me this day, these two words, I am, are the most powerful words you say for the day, because these are the words that you give energy to that direct your path in which you walk. So remember, whatever you say those two words today, be sure it's something positive behind it and something that you want to happen, because otherwise you may experience something that you had not intended. And even when you do experience something unexpected, give thanks for it, because it only came. There's a mic open somewhere. Can we mute that mic, please? Because that lesson only came to make us better. It's a character building day. So remember this exercise and practice it when you are stressed out. In the midst of the madness, stop. Take a long, deep breath. If you can find you a corner or a bathroom or something somewhere, and simply practice this breathing exercise. It doesn't have to go on for 5 or 8 minutes. It simply goes on for 60 seconds. And I'm working on a online webinar for you to practice with that. So just keep that in mind. And if someone comes into your personal space today and they did try to throw you off center, just begin breathing on them. Promise you, they will find another direction to display their unappreciativeness of you, especially if you have garlic or ginger or onion on your breath. They will move in another direction. They will not stay in your face if you breathe on them and you have garlic or onions on your breath. So I hope you've enjoyed this Monday morning mindfulness stress relief session this morning. Be sure and share it with someone, because that's what this is all about. If we are less stressed and we can share that with someone to make them less stressful, and they get in your face and get all up in your business, you know, I think you need a mindfulness moment. Let me share something with you. And if you don't want to share it with them personally, send them to the website. Send them to YouTube and have them type in ZeldaSpeaks mindfulness so that they can get a whiff of the joy that you experienced. And thank you for sharing your joy with me this morning. It's 8 o'clock. We're going to take a very personal break this morning and share some information with you that can help improve the quality of your life. And we will be right back with our very special guest, Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations, and we will discuss Independence Day. Is it really independent? Well, stay close, and we'll be right back for your Monday morning mindfulness right here on the Female Solution. Thanks for listening. Stay close.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Neighborhood schools are the hearts of a community. It's where our kids learn, meet, and make friends. Friends they know in school and can associate with after school. It's where parents connect with other parents. Closing schools changes this and make our kids stranger in an unfamiliar neighborhood. Together, let's find a solution to reopen our schools and help them flourish.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for Mayor.
Oh, man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
You are tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in this city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage, or give us a call at 646-359-6605, and we welcome you, helping us breathe literary life into the South Side of Chicago.
Thank you for joining us on Blog Talk Radio, the Female Solution, Higher Learning with ZeldaSpeaks. Our special guest today is Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations. Thank you, Brother Lionel, for joining us this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness.
Peace be with you. Glad to be with you once again.
So glad to have you back here this week. How was your weekend, my brother?
I appreciate every day, because neither one of them, they're all a blessing, and I try to do what I can every day to, as you say, make it worthwhile.
Well, Well, I know as long as you are in the community, you will have something to say of worthwhile to our community, and that's why we appreciate you joining us on the Female Solution this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness. You know, our topic today is in America, we're celebrating Independence Day and how it came to be, and is it really worth a celebration? And why do we celebrate activities that are not of our best interest due to the conditioning and the history of how we as a people have been treated in this country? Would you like to share with our listening audience? And
well, I basically, I understand the idea, the history, as Sister Naima was pointing out in her opening remarks about the observance of Independence Day. I like to begin by talking about the fact that this has always been one of my favorite observances, cultural observances, because of my grandmother, Eva Spinks in St. Louis. Had 11 children, and she would choose the 4th of July for us to come together as a family at a park in St. Louis every year. It was our family reunion, 4th of July, and got a chance to see all my cousins and aunts and uncles and socialize in an environment that we were outside in the park, And it was important also because of the kind of person my grandmother was. She was very much into independence, striving to establish some kind of business. And I used to spend a lot of time in her barbecue place, watching her, observing her interact with customers. And she used to also make flowers out of paper. And we can all come together on Mother's Day and Easter, sell these flowers in the neighborhood project. We go door to door selling flowers, Mother's Day flowers, Easter flowers. And it really instilled in me an appreciation for independence. And I think independence in the context of what is vital for human beings, especially men, to have an independent vision or focus is part of the dynamic of life and growth that I think we've gotten disconnected from in this modern world. Not by accident, but by design. The disconnect is something that is part of the process of slavery that people have hijacked the process of growth and turned it into a process of slavery, introducing and giving people over to stagnation on the sensory, carnal level, and working very diligently to keep them from ever rising above that. And this is what I would like to focus on in the context of independence, the idea of our being independent of that kind of influence. Slavery is not about physical captivity. It's about indoctrinating us and locking us into a carnal, materialistic, shallow, vainglorious, foolish mindset that is perpetuated by habit. And we have to recognize, as the young people say, and get real as the young people say, to come out of it. That's what we have to be free of.
And how do we do that, Lionel? And we've been so indoctrinated with it, with these subliminal messages and all of our programming, from radio, television, movies, literature in our community. How do we do that?
Well, by the grace of the Creator, there have been many people who have made contributions in helping us in this area. I think the greatest contribution is recognizing what is said in the Lord's Prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And recognizing that the process is a process of growth, that we have to overcome the number one obstacle to human development is other human beings who have used the wisdom of the ages instead of growing and evolving human life to enslave human life. And again, habits and having a sensation-oriented carnal appetite is where we have been stuck. And overcoming that requires us disciplining ourselves to higher appetites, spiritual appetites. Just being gratified by kindness, consideration for others, exercising those muscles will give you greater and greater strength and form greater and greater habits that will enable you to become more inspired. And it's an ongoing process. The more you work at it, the easier it gets. But it's a process that we have to apply in order to really free ourselves from the slavery that these slave masters have imposed.
So what would you say to our listeners who are new to this experience and really could use the help by pointing them in the right direction of what's the one thing that they could do to get this process started on their own personal journeys?
Well, like I say, exercising kindness and consideration will go a long way. Anything that will feed the gratification of the spirit, the soul, that the willingness to sacrifice material gratification yourself in order to experience something of a spiritual gratification by helping somebody else. Just a kindness, consideration. These are things that everybody can do every day, all day.
And doesn't cost you anything.
And it'll cost you in the sense of overcoming fear and overcoming bad habits of looking to get something all the time from somebody else as opposed to wanting to give something. You know, the idea of business evolves from the idea of service. You know, business, providing food, clothing, and shelter are fundamentals of business that people who want to provide those things for other people's needs genuinely and generally work to do that. And so we have to get back in touch with what is really human. You know, it's no accident that the word human and humane have similar roots. You know, the idea of caring The idea of caring for others is what being a human being is all about. And we have been grossly misinformed and misdirected in terms of what we should be striving for as human beings.
Would you repeat that again, Lionel, about the word hue and human?
Well, the human and humane are connected. So is the word mortal in terms of describing and defining what it is to be a person, a human being. To be caring, to have the capacity to care for others, to respond to the needs of others, is what being human is all about. It's not about, and the more you exercise that from that principle, the more you exercise your will to fulfill that principle, the stronger your will and that principle will become as a part of your life. Things like fasting are very good for the development of your spirit over your carnal appetites. Even just the sense of smell that you acquire when you stop eating so much, it heightens your senses and makes you more aware of the spiritual life within the body that is the real master. And so the whole idea of religion, true religion, is to give you examples and principles that you can exercise that spiritual muscle.
Because it is a muscle, and if you move it and you exercise it, that muscle consistently, you will see an improvement. And the improvement is not always a quick experience. Sometimes it's a journey, and we have to learn not to beat up on ourselves when we think we don't see the results that we want to see in a hurry. Special good morning and grand rising to the caregivers of the world who are caring for members of their family or not members of their family who are unable to care for themselves. That is definitely a humane way of being. As I was listening to a conversation at an event I was at yesterday, and the two ladies were discussing, her father had recently passed, and she talked about how she'd cared for him 5 years on her own as a single working parent because she refused to put her father in a nursing home. That takes a special kind of person to do that for 5 years. And I'm sure there are people who've done it even longer. And the other lady who said she had to take care of her parents for about the same time, but during the end time of her father's life, she had to put him in a nursing home because he became violent, and she just couldn't handle it. So kudos to the caregivers of the world. And it doesn't have to be in a big way. Just like you said, just being humane, being hospitable, holding an elevator for someone, holding a door, just doing something that maybe you would not ordinarily do because there's so much focus on the self, but to learn how to be selfless.
Well, that is actually, what I'm saying is that the real self is the spiritual self and not the material self. That the more you identify with that humane character, that human character, and feed it and exercise, the stronger and more in tune it'll become. And what we're looking for is the food from the divine. So man does not live by bread alone, and that there is an energy that feeds the soul that is all around us and throughout the universe. And we have to grow that spirit to the point where it can be interfaced with the divine and the higher forces. There is much more to this life than what we've experienced in the modern world, and we have to understand that those who were here before could see what was coming, and that they prepared for it in ways that are consistent with the wisdom that they had acquired over generations.
And because we come from generations who may or may not have experienced it. It's an ongoing challenge to be a part of this consciousness, but we do know that it is possible. Everything and anything, if we think it is, because it all begins in the mind.
Well, yeah, the more you study, the more you dig. Real education is not what you're given and directed to by those who run this world. Real education is knowledge that you seek out for yourself, and that
on your own.
And that you are inspired to follow based upon internal.
I agree.
So
I agree.
The more we get in touch with that, the history of the world beyond this modern world teaches a fundamental difference in people's attitudes and perspectives about life. Is responsible for how we've gotten into the situation that we're in, and we have to get back in touch with those kinds of inclinations, inspirations, in order to recognize or to get back in touch with that kind of energy. And
I agree.
We have to seek it. We have to seek it. It's not something that we're having the mindset, the slave mindset that this world has given us is a carnal, vainglorious, materialistic, and very, very foolish mindset. And if you reject those things in the context of being the main appetite or direction for your life, and instead take on the spiritual, the idea of the life inside the body that needs to be fed and nurtured with humane concerns and exercises, you will be well on your way to being free from that slave influence that dominates the modern world.
Yes, because it definitely does.
But it's changing. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done is a promise, and we have to be in tune with that promise. We have to be aware that the Creator does not fail. This is all part of a divine plan for us to grow out of darkness into light, from infancy to maturity. And so, be optimistic. I would encourage people to just know that their goodness is real, God is real, and that we have to operate from a perspective of that which will bring us closer and more in tune with that will.
And doing so daily, such as platforms such as the one that we are on now on the Female Solution, I'd say is a part of that. because it's a think tank for those who want better and who want to do better and want to be better.
Yeah, I think so, and that's the reason why I'm glad to be a part of it, to be able to contribute to whatever extent that I can, to encourage people, to give people some sense of hope and optimism that this is not over, that the darkest hour just before the dawn is an indication of just how close we are to realizing a brand new day.
And we give thanks for our executive producer, Naima Latif, who listened to the spirit that is within her that gave her the idea of having a platform where people like ourselves and others who are listening with us this morning to come together and to be of the consciousness to improve the quality of life and thinking on this planet, as with all of our hosts on this platform, beginning with Monday Morning Mindfulness, in which you are participating in now, and Tuesday, Voices of Enlightenment, Repairing Family Relationships with Naima Latif from 7 until 9 a.m., and then on Wednesday morning, there's more with Kareem Hamid and Munira Habil from 6 until 9 a.m., and that website is NaimaLatif.com. That's NIAMAH Latif, Latif, NaimaLatif.com. And Thursdays with our sisters Maika. Let's talk about it with Maika, 7 to 9 a.m. on 365 KnowYourHistory.com. And Friday, it's Health and Wellness with Viata. And that website is YourHolisticLife.com. And Saturday, let's not forget about WEI, Women Entrepreneurs International with B Love from 12 noon until 2 p.m. Women Entrepreneurs International.com. And Sunday, never last but not least, Woman to Woman with our very own Wanda Carter from 5 until 7 p.m. And that website is ccnewsmedia.org. And I have to admit, Lionel, that I knew of OnAirEverywhere.com before I even knew that Naima Latif was the director, founder, executive producer of that as well. So it just goes to show that when you are doing the work on self and being conscious on a daily level and reminding yourself of that by surrounding yourself with people who think like you, that which you are seeking is also seeking you. And it's just wonderful to know that.
Yeah, well, all praise is due to Allah. It's a process of bringing people together, like minds. You know, there's a surah in the Holy Quran, the 103rd surah of the Holy Quran, from which I take a great deal of inspiration for my name and my direction in life. It says that by the measure of time through the ages, man is at loss except for those who have faith, who do righteous deeds, and who mutually join together to promote truth with patience and constancy.
Amen.
So I think good people are doing good things out here, all inspired by the same Creator. They have different names for the Creator, different ideas, concepts, but the motivation, the inspiration is the same. We want to grow, and we know that growth has to do with our internal spiritual navigations. And we'll all end up in the same place, I think.
Amen.
Same goals.
Well, I give thanks that I've decided to be a part of us all working on the same goal and making a difference in the quality of lives of our listeners who may be joining us this morning. If you'd like to join the conversation, we would love to hear from you at 515-605-9325. We're going to an important message break for you to give you more information that can make your day brighter. As soon as we come back from the call, from our break, we will pull you up. Simply press 1 to speak. You must press 1 so that we can open your mic. That's 515 605-9325. You're listening to Monday Morning Mindfulness with special guest Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations, and we will be right back to take your calls. And thanks for joining us this morning. We'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Chicago is a big city, 234 square miles. We have 50 aldermen to watch over our neighborhood, but only one police superintendent. As mayor, I will add 3 more superintendents and form separate districts for them to be responsible for and bringing top management to the police force closer to our citizens.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection.
Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on Cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. In other cities, check your local cable listings.
Hi, this is Beata, your holistic life coach. Every Friday morning, I'm on The Female Solution. I'm also blogging live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Soul Purpose Healing, where I help you get back into alignment with the Creator's love, compassion, and wisdom. On Sunday, you can call in at 215-383-5863 or go to www.blogtalkradio.com/soulpurposehealing. When I'm not doing spiritual adjustments on Blog Talk Radio, I'm helping clients reduce the stress in their lives with EFT, essential oils, and cost-saving health plans like Ameriplan. Ameriplan is a better way to save money on your health care expenses. There is more information on how to contact me at www.yourholisticlifecoach.com. Till then, stay in joy.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
And thank you for joining us back here on Monday Morning Mindfulness Stress Relief with Blog Talk Radio. And our special guest today on the Female Solution is Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations. I was just thinking about the promo that we just heard from Dr. Willie Wilson, who is the 2019 Chicago mayoral candidate for the city of Chicago, and how he has been working behind the scenes for the last 40 years, and people not even knowing of his contributions to society because he does not, what's the word I'm looking for, make it known. He doesn't announce what it is that he does. He's been helping getting people out of jail who can't even afford a $100 bond, helping people, homeowners who were about to lose their houses for taxes, for not being able to pay their taxes. Talk about humane, Lionel, which we were discussing earlier on how we can begin the process of making this a better place to live for all of us just by being humane. One of the things that I love about his character is that I was listening to one of the videos that I was editing of an announcement that he made at, I think it was the Latino Ex-Offenders Banquet, and he said, something is not right when I have mine and you don't have yours. I just don't feel good about that. Something is not right about that. I have never heard anyone who is running for a public office, who is not a politician, by the way, but God spoke to his heart and allowed him to be who he is and serve the community, and been doing it for 40 years, and people don't even know it. And what saddens me, though, is that people focus on a character defect, what they say as a speech impediment. They're not focusing on the man's heart of him being humane, of what you spoke on earlier. What do you say to that, Lionel?
Well, you. One of the things my grandmother used to say is you can't judge a book by the cover. And
right.
Being shallow in evaluating things is not the way to go. You have to look deeply, and you got to look historically, and everything. One of the things, the idea of people who don't promote what they do, that's one of the problems that I have with, mass media, internet kind of thing, the promotion of eye technology, the whole idea of I is vain. The whole idea of promoting selfie, and publicizing what one does for the sake of letting people get an image of you that may or may not be who you are, but you want to make people think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's important for us to be able to, be wise and to know the difference between what is real and what is not real. And I found that people who are doing good things or really striving to do something good are really not promoting it as much.
Yeah.
They look for other people to promote them. If I'm doing something that's good and it needs to be recognized, eventually somebody will see it.
Absolutely.
You don't do it for the sake of publicizing it. You're doing it for the sake of doing the good. And the best charity is that which is not. The best charity is that which is not asked for, and that which is not solicited, and that is not publicized. Those who give without even knowing that they gave it is the real blessing, and the highest blessing. So I mean, I encourage people to do as much good as they can, and to be wise and to think deeply and historically about everything.
In this show and tell world that we live in, everybody is showcasing what they do. If we spent that much time working or displaying affection for one another, or being humane to one another, this would be a better world. And I think we're in the process of doing it. People are slowly catching on and realizing that it's not all about selfishness and, how can I be the next whatever, but how I can make someone's life better. That's the big deal. That's the really big deal. That's what's really, really important. And I think those who are doing that and not being compensated for it, but just living from the heart, I think those, in case no one has told you that, we appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you do. Go ahead, Lionel. You were about to say?
Just that, it's important for us to, understand that the Creator is aware. To be one of the things that's really most appealing to me about the teachings of Islam, the religion of Islam, is that its emphasis on your relationship with Allah is that you do it for the sake of Allah. You don't do it for the sake of other people. You don't do it because you want other people to say that you're a good person or that you're a wise person, or you do it for the sake of Allah. And Allah is aware of everything that you do, and therefore the idea of having to promote yourself is not even a question. The idea is that you just do the work, and you know that Allah is going to give you whatever reward He sees fit. And the rewards are not material most of the time. The best rewards are have to do with your consciousness, your way you think, the way you respond to things. Another thing, another lesson that I've been blessed to learn is the role of fear in the process of slavery, and how faith takes away fear.
Faith removes fear.
Fear and faith cannot exist at the same place at the same time.
Amen.
If you believe that God is, and that God, and if you understand the idea of Allah that is given in the Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that idea is one that if you really understand and believe it, you can't be afraid of anything else. And that's the more your faith is real, the more connected you are in situations that would inspire fear. You find yourself very calm and very rational. And it's not even something that you control. It's not even something that you're doing yourself. It's just the reality of being faithful makes it inconsistent with fear to exist in the same place at the same time. And so I encourage people to exercise their faith as much as possible and to lock into consciousness that makes it clear to you that you are doing what your Creator wants you to do, and you're doing it for that sake and that sake only, and not because you want other people to think you're a good person.
You do it out of the goodness of your heart. And thank you for doing that which you do out of the goodness of your heart. And no one has acknowledged that. Well, we are acknowledging that right here for you on blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution, Higher Learning with ZeldaSpeaks. If you're listening to the conversation this morning and you'd like to share, please press 1 so that we know that you want to share, because we don't know if you don't press 1. And the number again is 515-605-9325. Press 1 so that we can open your mic so that you may speak. We do appreciate the fact that those who are listening online, you can also send your questions and comments to our social media page, ZeldaSpeaks, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also rest assured that if you just joined the conversation and you didn't get a chance to hear the show from the beginning, you can always listen to it in the archives by going to The Female Solution, blogtalkradio.com, The Female Solution, and just click on Higher Learning with ZeldaSpeaks, Monday Morning Mindfulness, and you can hear the show in its entirety with our very special guest today, Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations, who brings us a different perspective on life as we don't see it, as we see it from the inner eye. What will I say, Lionel? Not from the physical eye, but from the inner eye. And we do have. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's not information that's new. It's not information that's right. It's revelation or anything. I try to put forward is what has been a part of human life historically, and that we've been separated from. That this whole concept of capitalism is associated with materialism and vanity. The narcissism of the president and his popularity is consistent with a mindset that's been growing in the world for quite some time, and it is inconsistent with faith to be narcissistic. To be vain is inconsistent with being faithful, with being humble. You can't be vain and humble at the same time. You can't be human.
Never looked at it like that.
You can't be human and vain at the same time. That one is incompatible with the other. And so the cultivation of ideals and principles that shape the inner life is what we've been misled about. The value of material things is something we've been misled about. We think that money is almighty. That is one of the clearest examples of how blindly we've been misled.
And are still being misled to this day as we join in the celebration of fireworks and all the activities that surround the 4th of July, the Independence Day. But like you said, with the beginning with your grandmother, it served a purpose because it brought families together in celebration, as opposed to many families who never get together unless there's a funeral in the family. And it's one of the reasons why or how we can find good in situations that are or were designed to keep us in bondage in a very special way.
Well, at the same time, however, if we only getting together just to have a party, if our coming together is just an opportunity to exercise, fun behavior, and there's nothing serious, there's nothing that really cultivates a deeper spiritual bond with people, then it's really not as productive. It's not as good as we would like. We could do better. I think one of the problems that I'm having with this whole idea is that we don't do anything on these so-called holidays except have a party, a picnic, and that there's no conscious, willful exercise of sober, serious reflection about what these so-called holidays are about, and that should be the biggest part. That should at least be it should be the climax of the event, when people get together and really actually make some kind of a statement or gesture or something that would indicate a conscious reflection on what this thing is all about. I mean, when you talk about Memorial Day or Father's Day or Mother's Day, there should be some conscious, deliberate statement made in these gatherings about that, for the sake of making it more real.
What do you suggest that we do, Lionel?
That we make a conscious plan to do something. If you're going to have a family reunion, then whoever's planning the family reunion should say that at a certain point in the family reunion, we're going to talk about, or we're going to do something that would demonstrate our commitment to the ideal of independence. Not independence of each other as a family, but the idea of becoming not beggars, not being put in a situation where we have to ask somebody else for something, but we can give something. We don't want to be in a position where we take in all the time. We want to be in a position where we can give something. So that's where independence lies. Independence lies in people working together to build a stable situation where we have a surplus that we can offer to help somebody else.
Amen. I agree with that wholeheartedly. We have a caller on the line. Minister Plump is with us this morning, who always brings us something refreshing. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Female Solution, Minister Plump. Minister Robert Floyd Plump.
Hallelujah. Way on y'all, shalom, grand and rising, and assalamu alaikum, beloved family. How you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam. Peace to you.
Alaikum salam, alaikum salam. Thank you for joining us.
Well, I think you all was hitting that hammer on the head with the nail. You just ended up with where I wanted to begin, and that's a spiritual relationship. When you get into the roots of every human being, especially into your own family, it should be a spiritual relationship and an educational process because to add to, the family coming together. And two is a reflection of something together. And one of the most important things that I've learned is that the world responds to need, greed, or curiosity. We as a people, especially the black family, black people, or black nation, really that's a need. We need to come together and educate about our history and our culture and our heritage as a people, so we can help to develop the new breed, which is the young people. So they would have a level of understanding God, have a level of understanding God don't make no mistakes when he created the family, and also it's a curiosity part that even makes a difference as to, you know, who's who in the family, and everyone has a value. And yet, you know, I teach all my family members our value spiritually is a 23, and we all reflected, especially in Chicago. Chicago equals to 23. So, Sister Zelda, you know, you like a baby Oprah Winfrey, and Brother Abdul, you're like a Michael Jordan. And yet, you know, you all are champions as heroes, the brother, and then the sister is champion as a hero. So, you know, I kind of bring my family together and let everybody know that we are 23 family, and we're connected to all the other families, and that's where in y'all. We don't die, we multiply, like power forever, and assalamu alaikum. And thank you for taking my call, beloved. Hallelujah.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Brother Minister Plump. And thank our listening audience for joining us this morning. And we'll see you back here next Monday morning for your more of Monday morning mindfulness. And be sure to practice that stress relief, mindfulness stress relief session that we gave you here this morning. If you can't do the whole 5 to 8 minutes, just do 60 seconds and start breathing. And a special hello and thank you and prayers for the Hogues and Slaughter family. Mrs. Annie Slaughter, my mother-in-law, is in the hospital this morning dealing with some health issues, and maybe that is one of the things that we'll discuss over the holiday on how to continue care for her. Brother Lionel, would you like to leave us a closing thought as we go off the air?
Only continue to work, have faith, keep the peace, and, you know, don't worry about it. It's going to be all right.
All right now. Praise God. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you again on the show. And to remind us to remain sober and have some serious reflection this holiday season as we celebrate our independence in this country, not only independence from that which keeps us bound, but keeps us in a place that we don't want to be longer than we want to be there. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next Monday morning for your mindfulness stress relief session with ZeldaSpeaks. Be sure and check out the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. Click on ZeldaSpeaks Mindfulness, and you'll get a chance to see some of the mindfulness techniques and people who are benefiting from them. And if you want to contact me during the week, go to ZeldaSpeaks.com and send me your email address, and we will include you in the newsletter that's going out in about within the hour so that you can get information that is available and that will help you on your journey. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next mindfulness session. Make it a great day. Peace and blessings. And thanks for listening.
Get it. Kenya. Asante. Israel. Toda. Pakistan. Shukriya. Afghanistan. Tashakkur. Saudi Arabia. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.